They posted us to Odogba village, the way NYSC always does, without warning, without mercy, and without network. A place where the roads were red, the nights were too quiet, and the villagers looked at us with the kind of pity you give people who don't know what's coming. We arrived, 5 of us. Tomiwa, the soft-spoken teacher. Seyi, the Lagos boy who believed nothing could scare him. Boma, the Port Harcourt girl with a loud laugh and a louder mouth. Khadija, calm, observant, always praying under her breath. And Ovie, the one who joked too much for someone who didn't understand danger. We didn't know Odogba had secrets. We didn't know the land remembered. We didn't know we were walking into a story older than the village itself. We only came to serve. But Odogba had been waiting. The primary school sat at the edge of the village, leaning like an old man tired of standing. One classroom in particular looked like it had survived a war. Roof broken, walls cracked, windows missing. The headmaster, a thin man with tired eyes, told us, "Leave that classroom. It is not for renovation." We laughed. NYSC spirit, community development projects. We wanted to leave a legacy. "Sir, we'll fix it," Tomiwa said. "We'll make it the best classroom in Kogi State," Seyi added. The headmaster only sighed. Later that evening, the village chief visited our lodge. He didn't greet. He didn't sit. He simply said, "Children, do not touch that building. It was built on a place that should have been left alone." Boma whispered, "Abeg, which place?" But the chief didn't answer. He only walked away, his staff tapping the ground like a warning. We should have listened. But youth is stubborn and NYSC is pride. The next morning, we began renovation. The sun was harsh, the kind that bows your neck and make your shadow look tired. We cleared weeds, swept the floor, and began digging around the foundation. Ovie's shovel hit something hard. "Guy, see something here?" We gathered around. It wasn't stone. It wasn't metal. It was a carved tablet covered in strange markings, spirals, claws, eyes, symbols that looked like they were watching us. Under it lay a wooden box wrapped in faded red cloth. The moment we lifted it, the ground trembled. Not a normal tremor, not the kind you feel a passing through. This one felt alive. A cold wind swept through the village even though it was dry season. The sky dimmed as if someone lowered the brightness of the world. And from the forest behind the school, a low hum began, rhythmic, ancient, like chanting for voices buried under the earth. Khadija dropped her shovel. "Something is wrong," she whispered. But she laughed. "Abeg na old village things, make we continue." We carried the box to the classroom. That was our first mistake. That night, Odogba changed. The villagers locked their doors earlier than usual. Children were rushed inside. Dogs refused to bark. Even the insects were silent. We sat outside our lodge, eating gari and groundnuts, trying to ignore the strange heaviness in the air. Then, Tomiwa heard it. A deep, slow breathing behind her window. She froze. The breathing grew louder, closer. She whispered, "Who is there?" No answer. Just breathing. Then a voice, deep, ancient, layered like many voices speaking as one, whispered her name. Tomiwa. She screamed. We ran to her room. Nothing was there. But the window was open, and the curtains fluttered like someone had just left. We didn't sleep that night. The next morning, strange footprints footprints appeared around our lodge. Large, clawed, and too heavy for any animal we knew. The villagers avoided us. The headmaster refused to speak. The oldest woman in the village, Mama Ojoro, finally approached us. Her back was bent, her eyes cloudy, but her voice was sharp. "You have awakened what was buried," she said. "You have called back Oluwo Ikun." We asked her what that meant. She told us the story. Long ago, Odogba worshipped a guardian deity, half man, half tiger spirit, a protector, a judge, a being of balance. But the villagers betrayed him. They destroyed his shrine. They buried his relics. They built the classroom on top of his sacred ground. Oluwo Ikun did not die. He only slept. And we had woken him. Mama Ojoro pointed at the classroom. That place is not a classroom. It is a grave. We decided to check the classroom again. The moment we entered, the chalkboard began writing on its own. Letters scratched themselves across the surface. "You took what is mine." Seyi ran out immediately. Boma screamed. Khadija began praying loudly. Tomiwa stood frozen, staring at the board. Then the chalk dropped, and the classroom door slammed shut. We were locked inside. The windows darkened. The air grew cold, and footsteps circled the building, heavy, slow, deliberate. Something was outside. Something angry. Something awake. Ovie shouted, "Who is there?" A voice answered from everywhere and nowhere. "Return what you stole." The door burst open. We ran out, stumbling into the sunlight like prisoners escaping a nightmare. But the nightmare followed us. That night, the deity came closer. We heard claws dragging across the walls of our lodge. We heard chanting from the forest. We heard footsteps pacing outside our door. At midnight, the light went out. Not NEPA. Not generator. This darkness felt intentional. We huddled together, shaking. Then the door creaked open. A tall shadow stood there, broad shoulders, glowing eyes, stripes across its skin like a tiger carved from smoke and anger. Oluwo Ikun. He didn't enter. He didn't speak. He only pointed at us. Then he vanished. We knew what he wanted. The box. The relic. The shrine. We had to return it. Mama Ojoro led us to the forest behind the school. The villagers followed at a distance, whispering prayers. We reached the clearing. A circle of stones covered in moss, broken carvings, and old offerings long forgotten. This is where the shrine stood, Mama Ojoro said. We placed the box on the ground. The wind stopped. The trees froze. The night held its breath. Then the ground opened. Slowly, silently. A deep rumble echoed through the forest as the earth swallowed the box. The stones began to glow faintly. The air warmed. And from the darkness beneath the soil, a voice whispered, balance restored. The wind returned. The tree swayed. The night exhaled. Onuo Iku appeared at the edge of the clearing, no longer angry, no longer monstrous. His eyes were calm, his form fading like smoke returning to the sky. He looked at us, not with hatred, with gratitude. Then he dissolved into the night. By sunrise, Odogba felt different. The villagers greeted us with smiles. The headmaster thanked us. Mama Ojo blessed us. The classroom we renovated looked normal again. No cracks, no strange markings, no trembling ground. It was as if the deity had repaired it himself. We completed our service year without another incident. But on our final day, as we boarded the bus to leave, Tomiwa looked towards the forest. She saw glowing eyes watching her. Not threatening, not angry, just watching. A guardian restored. A deity remembered. A shrine no longer abandoned. Some NYSC stories are about love. Some are about friendship. Some are about suffering. Ours was about a deity buried under a classroom. And how sometimes the land remembers more than people do. We came to serve. But Odogba taught us something deeper. Respect the ground you walk on. You will never know who it is. The shrine may be restored, but the spirits of the motherland never sleep. If you want more tales of ancient deities, haunted villages, and the secrets buried in our soil, follow Motherland Tales. Subscribe, share, and return for the next story, if you dare.